The first time Ethan realized the pocket watch was not broken, it started counting down by itself. 300, 299, 298. The entire world went silent. The laughter in the hallway froze. Raindrops hung in the air. Headlights on the street glowed like lightning trapped behind glass. Then Ethan saw himself 5 minutes in the future. He was standing outside the school gate, soaked by rain, clutching the old watch with both hands. Across the road, a girl was chasing a drawing blown by the wind. A truck was coming straight toward her. The headlights grew larger. The brakes screamed. Ethan snapped back to the present. The watch still read 300. He had 5 minutes. At that moment, 14-year-old Ethan believed fate had given him a chance. But he did not know the truth yet. Seeing the future was not the dangerous part. The dangerous part was what fear made him do next. A few days earlier, Ethan had been almost invisible. He did not talk much. He had few friends. In every classroom and every crowd, he found a way to stand at the edge. The only person who ever made him feel understood was his grandfather. And his grandfather had just died. While sorting through the things he left behind, Ethan found a small wooden box at the bottom of a drawer. Inside was a mechanical pocket watch. It was heavy, cold, and scratched from years of use, but the face was wrong. No hour hand. No minute hand. Only one number. 300. Ethan pressed the crown. Click. The clock on the wall stopped ticking. The traffic outside vanished. Even the dust in the sunlight stopped moving. Then he saw himself 5 minutes later, knocking over a glass of water. The water spilled toward an old photograph of his grandfather. When the world came back, Ethan moved the photograph away. 5 minutes later, the glass fell exactly as he had seen. The desk was soaked. The photograph was safe. That was when Ethan learned the rule. The watch could not stop time. It could not change the past. It could not show tomorrow, next year, or the rest of his life. It could only show 5 minutes. Just 300 seconds. Short enough to seem harmless. Long enough to make a lonely boy believe he could avoid every mistake. At first, Ethan used it for small things. In class, he saw himself fail to answer a question, so he checked the textbook before it happened. 5 minutes later, he answered perfectly, and the teacher smiled at him for the first time. In the hallway, he caught a cup before it fell. On the playground, he held down papers before the wind scattered them. Every success was tiny, but each one felt like proof that he could finally control his life. Then he noticed Leah. She was the quiet girl who drew alone at the end of the hallway, always carrying a folder of sketches. One afternoon, Ethan used the watch and saw a gust of wind steal one of her drawings 5 minutes later. So when reality returned, he stood where the paper would fly. The drawing lifted from her hands. Ethan caught it. Leah looked surprised, then smiled. "Thank you." For the first time, Ethan felt like he had arrived in someone else's life at exactly the right moment. After that, he depended on the watch for everything. Before tests, before conversations, before helping anyone, before taking even the smallest risk. He thought he was becoming brave, but really he had given his courage to a machine that counted down. The first time it went wrong was near the neighborhood garden. Ethan pressed the crown and saw his elderly neighbor collapse on the path 5 minutes later. This was not a spilled cup. This was a life. When reality returned, Ethan ran to stop him. He called emergency services. He warned the old man not to take the path. The old man changed direction. Ethan thought he had saved him. Then a bicycle shot around the corner. The rider swerved to avoid them. crashed into a flower stand and sent broken pots across the pavement. The old man stepped back in fear, slipped on a shard of clay, and fell hard. 5 minutes had passed. The ambulance siren rose in the distance. The old man had still fallen. Only the place had changed. Only the cause had changed. Ethan stood there, cold all over. For the first time, he wondered if the watch was showing him the future, or if he was creating it by trying to escape it. That night, he locked the watch in the deepest drawer of his desk. He promised himself he would never use it again. A few days later, school ended under a dark sky. Rain began to fall. Students crowded toward the gate. Ethan walked with them, trying to be normal. No visions. No calculations. No more controlling every second. Then a gust of wind swept through the gate. Several drawings flew past him. Ethan caught one. On the paper was a forest. Small figures stood beneath the trees. In the corner, someone had drawn a tiny round watch. "That's mine," Leah said. Ethan looked up. She was standing in the rain, smiling shyly. Then something vibrated in his pocket. His blood went cold. The watch was there. The same watch he had locked away. The lid opened by itself. 300. 299. 298. The world froze. Ethan saw the wind rise again. He saw Leah chase a drawing into the road. He saw a truck coming through the rain. And he saw himself standing too far away to stop it. Reality returned. Ethan ran. First, he grabbed all her drawings before the wind came. Leah panicked and reached for them. One page slipped free and flew into the road. He pressed the watch. Second, he held Leah back and warned her. She pulled away, frightened, stumbled into the crowd, and the drawings scattered again. He pressed the watch. Third, he shouted for the truck to slow down. The truck braked, but a car behind it swerved toward the school gate. Again. 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 He stole the drawings, blocked the road, dragged Leah toward the building, even stepped into the street himself. Every attempt changed the details. But danger always found another path. Before the final countdown, Ethan's thumb stopped above the crown. Rain ran down his face. He remembered the old man falling. He remembered how every desperate action had made the world more chaotic. Maybe the future was not pushing them toward disaster. Maybe his fear was. This time, Ethan did not press the watch. He did not grab the drawings. He did not pull Leah away. He simply walked to her side, looked at the sketch in her arms, and said, "That's beautiful." Leah stopped. She unfolded the page for him. "It's a forest I imagined," she said. "Everyone in it is waiting for a clock that no longer counts down." The wind passed through the gate. A few blank pages flew into the road. Leah did not chase them. Ethan did not move. Seconds passed. Streetlights came on one by one. The truck rolled safely through the wet street, its tires whispering through shallow water. No crash. No scream. No brakes tearing through the rain. The danger passed beside them and vanished into a reality no one had forced open. Ethan looked down. The watch was not counting down. But where the number had always returned to 0, something new appeared. 3:01. That night, Ethan placed the watch beneath his desk lamp. A thin crack crossed the glass. Inside the back cover, he found no gears and no hidden mechanism. Only an old photograph. His grandfather stood on a rainy street beside another boy. The boy was holding the same watch. But the thing that made Ethan freeze was not the photograph. It was the sentence scratched into the case, almost worn away by time. Do not trap your life inside the 5 minutes you saw coming. When the number becomes 301, give it to the next person who is afraid of the future. Many years later, on another rainy night, Ethan opened a drawer and took out the old watch. It had stopped long ago. The number still read 301. Outside, a child laughed while chasing a paper airplane down the street. Ethan smiled. Inside the watch, he kept Leah's old drawing. The paper had yellowed, but the tiny watch in the corner was still clear. He remembered those 5 minutes. Not because he had seen the future, but because it was the first time he had stopped trying to know what came next. The first time he had stepped into the unknown. A single tear fell onto the edge of the drawing. Under the warm light, the silent number inside the watch flickered once. Ethan was about to close the lid. Outside, the child chasing the paper airplane suddenly stopped beneath a streetlight and looked up at his window. The watch trembled softly in Ethan's hand. 301 disappeared. The number on the face jumped back to 300.